Well, welcome back, guys, to the losers bracket final now between the Viper and Slam. We have a best of 3 series coming your way, and I'm joined once more by T90 Official and Nubford, and I'll hand it over to T90 right now.
Okay, now again, I want to make sure the colors are correct. Zach, just correct me if I'm saying it incorrectly. But Viper's here in the red, playing as the Slavs on the bottom. Slam not too far away in the blue, playing as the Khmer. These guys are next door neighbors. They're so close to one another. There's so much map space on the left and to the top that they're probably not going to be going to in this game. It's crazy how close they are.
Yeah,
the maps are still very open on this particular map, but there's more wood than we found with Kilimanjaro.
For sure. I was going to say, this is, of course, Serengeti, and we've seen so many super aggressive playstyles on this map so far. And as you said, the players are incredibly close to each other. Now, that's not always the case on this map. Oftentimes, they're on really far away corners of the map. But here, they are very close. And since this is a map that really favors high aggression, we will see if they find each other early enough. And this is an interesting thing to keep in mind, because on this map, you don't have standard resources. You've got the zebra, you've got the ostrich, and you have to push them towards your town center with your scout cavalry. And that means that your scout cavalry is not spending so much time scouting, and instead he's pushing, food towards your town center. So the question is, will they actually find each other early enough to get super aggressive? And there is certainly a risk involved that if they do try and get aggressive early on, that they won't actually go to the right place on the map, and they'll completely miss each other here.
Yeah, that's sure. That's for sure. The scouting is really important, and I think with the maps being so open, we need to address them. At first, I looked at Viper's map, and I said, you know what? I'm not a fan of it. He's in a crater, so the hill advantage will come into play if Slam attacks. But then I looked back at Slam's base, and Slam's base is wide open. There's also a hill for him. He's going to be fighting uphill, potentially. His woodline on the back, I don't like it. There's not as many trees as he would like. I like the fact he chose that woodline, but with the gold so close to the town centers for both of them, and with such an open map, I wouldn't be surprised if we see militia into man-at-arms, just because those man-at-arms, they really pack a punch in the early game.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, this is really open for Slam, though. And I agree with you about going for the wood at the back. That's actually the best choice, because the Baobab has 200 wood, opposed to the Acacia, which has 150. So the Baobab trees do last longer, and that means that Slam's on the better wood line here. But yeah, I mean, neither map is particularly nice, but since when is it ever nice on Serengeti? One thing I've noticed is that Viper's taking his elephant way later than Slam. Slam's nearly finished his elephant now, and Viper's only just taking that. It's not a huge difference, but already we're starting to see some slight differences in the build order, and I feel like that gives Slam a small edge in terms of food income in the early game, and maybe allowing him to be getting his... Oh, sorry, I was just watching the scout here. Maybe allowing him to get his barracks up nice and early and get the militia rush going super fast, because Slam has found the Viper. Viper has not found Slam.
And that's what I wanted to talk about next. I don't know if this will be in Viper's mind. So many different things these guys have to focus on. But Slam came from the left with his scout. Viper has not scouted yet. He's, I would say, going for a greedy approach, but an eco approach where he lures in these resources. If I were Viper and I were just to scout blindly, I would probably go to where that relic is, to the left of Slam, or to the left of Viper's base. So I don't think I would go to the right if I was Viper. So we could find one of those games where Viper is unable to find his opponent, and he's going to have to make decisions blindly, which we have seen in the past.
Yeah, that could be a real problem. I mean, map information, visibility, scouting, all that stuff is so important. What I would say, though, is now that Slam is actually found the Viper, he's gone back to actually go and push his ostrich in and take his extra food. I like that, and like you said, it could be in Viper's mind that, okay, I saw Slam coming in from this left-hand side. He would have seen him come over at the wood line here, and he came from this direction, which really is just not where you would expect him to come from when he's over on this upper right-hand side of the map. So if Viper does go for that man-at-arms push, we could see him really going the wrong way. It depends how long he decides to spend pushing in the zebra and the ostrich. He could decide that, okay, I've had enough of this. I'm actually going to go find where Slam is now. And I think we're definitely going to see feudal aggression from him because he's about to click up now and he does not have a barracks at this stage of the game. Then again, Slam throwing down his barracks right now and he could be ready with some man-at-arms very, very shortly.
Yeah, Viper may choose to just defend with whatever form of military he goes for.
Sure.
Because he hasn't scouted. But if he does want to go aggressive, he's got to get lucky or use his Viper map hacks or sense, whatever, Spidey senses, because he's still luring in zebras. I think there were 5 here. He's lured in 5 and maybe 2 ostriches. I mean, that's a huge food boost, but he has to be able to use those resources effectively as his barracks goes up now in the front. And obviously, Slam has his up and he is collecting gold. So I think we will see man-at-arms, but I could be wrong.
What I'm expecting from Viper here is scouts because he's really focusing on getting the zebra in and the ostrich, of course, as we've said already. And, you know, that really says to me, okay, he's looking for the food. He doesn't want to put any farms up yet because, of course, the slabs have 15% faster farming. But if he can get horse collar before he gets the farms up, that's a really big benefit to him. It really looks to me like he's going to go scouts here, and I think that's a great choice, actually, as well. But look, he's gone out to scout Slam now, and you were exactly right. He's going to the left. He's looking in the wrong place, and this gives Slam some nice edge because it allows him to build his barracks and send the militia over and his forward villagers, and Viper has no idea.
This is huge. Viper took a risk. He's probably going to put a stable up right next to where these units are coming in as well.
That means the stable's going to be denied, and Viper won't be able to build any scouts. He's going to be forced to make spearmen right now, or man-at-arms. I mean, he needs to get this up. He's trying to quick wall these villagers in, but he failed, and the villagers are probably going to die. Viper's trapped. There's no way out. He's going to be down 2 villagers. And Slam's trying to wall these villagers in as well. Not going to be successful, but he will kill both of these villagers and deny the stable. Slam off to the best possible start. And Viper now building an archery range because he's like, uh-oh, I done goofed. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. And this watchtower for Slam with the man-at-arms going to be a perfect combo. Viper's going for a counter tower now, which he should be able to get up.
Yep, he should,
but still it's going to be annoying.
At the same time, the man-at-arms upgrade comes in. They're on the hill. They're fighting the villagers. Viper's had to bring all of these villagers into fight. The 3rd villager's gone down. I can't believe this. This is an absolute disaster for the Viper. And I think even with the towers, Slam's going to get his tower up first. I can't believe this.
Yeah, all Slam needs to do is just run away now with his villagers. Unless he wants to try and focus on Viper's tower next to the town center, which is a possibility. But Slam has already done enough here, guys. He has done enough. Viper has idols underneath his TC. He's creating skirmishers versus man-at-arms. That tower could go down for Viper.
Yeah.
The
man-at-arms here attacking the base of the tower as well as the tower from Slam. Both of them have villagers garrisoned. Viper's tower, he's going to have to either repair or he's just going to have to give it up. And there they go. The tower's coming out. He's trying to get the repairs in now, but look at the idols. Look at this absolute mess. Viper's resource income is next to nothing. He's got no villagers gathering food right now. This is an absolute disaster. No villagers coming out at the TC. He's already lost so many. And what has Slam lost? What has Slam lost? Nothing.
Just now losing a man-at-arms.
Yeah, that's it.
Just now
Unbelievable.
losing his first one. Incredible execution from Slam, and I think it all comes back to Viper being a little bit greedy with his resources. It's crazy how much food he brought in and how little he has now. He did not prepare for the future well enough, in my opinion. Villagers going back now for Slam, but the damage has already been done.
Slam
it's been done, and Slam's back at home and getting ready for the next wave.
Slam is absolutely making the right choice and call here by just sending those villagers back. Like, it's dangerous to have the villagers on the front because, you know, they risk being killed. He's already killed 4 villagers from the Viper, maybe 5, and he's just going to send them home and just say, right, well, I've got a 5 villager advantage. What are you going to do? You're going to have to bring the fight to me, and you're going to have a hard time doing that. So Viper here, Slam here, such a great position, and now making a stable as well. Interesting choice, but looking at Slam back at home, he doesn't have that much food income. I don't think he can afford to make scouts and villagers. In fact, his TC now going idle. Not the best situation even still for Slam here.
Yeah, I thought at first the move was interesting because normally you would see archer ranges come up and then transition to archers and skirms, especially because Viper is obviously going trash to cancel out any gold units here. I thought it would work a little bit more than I do now, just because he doesn't have that food income. But what I do like is the towers. The towers on both wood lines, and the fact that he's on stone. But will the scouts do enough if he only has one now? I think the stable was a waste, and Viper now has time to rebound.
Yeah, Viper actually adding in more spearmen as well, because I think he's seen the stable. Yeah, he's seen the stable. I'm really actually surprised at this, but I would even go as far as to say is Viper is so far from being out of this game. You know, I really thought, okay, Slam's just bagged that now, but honestly, his economy is a bit of a mess, and it has been for a little bit of a little bit of time. I really don't feel so confident, and not only that, but let's remember, Slam here is actually taking a lot of stone, and stone doesn't really accomplish anything apart from building these defensive towers, which is a static defense and cannot be used to counterattack.
I think Slam made a big mistake with that stable. He's going to probably go for an archer range shortly now as well. Nilly, what do you think about the stable choice for Slam?
The thing is, as you mentioned before, the typical choice here is to go for defensive skirmishers. I don't blame Slam to go for surprise stable, because at that time Viper had only 4 skirmishers and not a single spearman out or in production. But if you go for a stable, please build it defensively. Hide it. Because Viper kind of scouted it by accident, or by, like, surprise.
Well, he nearly didn't scout it, put it that way. Yeah,
it was close.
And then he just pulled back his skirmishers, built some more spearmen, and now he's keeping up all his army, and Slam needs to run around a bit, but cannot really do the damage, and now needs to rely on defensive towers.
Yeah, I actually wanted to say as well, originally Slam was actually, he had a foundation here. I didn't see what it was, but I saw the rubble. I actually think he built an archery range first, and then changed his mind halfway through and built the stable instead. And this is such a questionable decision now, because it's so easy to defend with just a few spearmen and some walls from scouts. And not only that, but scouts is such a drain on your food economy. I would at least say that Slam has a lot of farms, and, you know, maybe it's still not all so bad, but he's really under a lot of pressure to do damage with these scouts now.
He really is under pressure, but he's making more scouts, so he hasn't transitioned to that range. Maybe he's like, you know what, this may have been a mistake, but I'm going to continue with it. If he masses enough scouts, he can actually take this fight, but right now he's fighting off with villagers, and that's not ideal. Again, it hurts your economy, and I think that's where Slam will slowly fall behind if he continues to create so many scouts.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, obviously, the fact that he's making scouts now, by default, that means that he's going to be making more farms as well. So it might balance out eventually, but these spearmen in here, they're not being focused down enough. Scouts actually going down quite quickly. I think Slam lost 3 scouts there, just to 2 spearmen. And he even brought the villagers into fight. Yeah, I think this 4th one's going to go down. Oh, maybe not. No, he's okay. But, you know, 3 HP on that scout, it may as well be dead. So, Slam not having a good fight there at all. His villagers, in theory, should have been able to do more. And he didn't just focus down the spearmen as well as he could have done. Anyway, Slam now archery range and blacksmith. And now he's making the transition into archers. But it's quite late. And I think it's given Viper the opportunity. Eco. Oh, wow, he's on the way to castle. Unbelievable.
After all of that. Yeah. That's the difference, though, guys. I mean, all this, the stable, first of all, which really wasn't the best choice. Slam did not do anything back at Viper's base at all. He just ran through it with 2 scouts and ran back. So the stable was a waste of resources. Then, of course, the scouts really didn't do anything except defend against, what, 2 spears and 3 or 4 skirmishers? Viper all the while was creating archers and just basically trying to get up to the next stage. Actually, he didn't make many archers or transition to archers at all. I'm incorrect. He made a couple skirms, a couple spears, and now he's going to go knights, which he'll have a window of opportunity to have success with.
And raid as well. I just want to add 2 things, though. First of all, Slam is 13 population ahead, which is huge, and that's mostly going to be villagers right now. And the second thing is that Viper, with 2 stables, obviously is going knights, but let's not forget the Slavs with their 15% faster farming. That must have helped Viper in a big way when he started putting those farms down. So I'm feeling right now, Slam coming forward with these 5 villagers, putting up the tower, he's not going to achieve much with that. Viper's still going to have access to gold. And with the Knights coming out in the Castle Age, Slam could be in for a very rough ride in these next few minutes.
Yeah, if he's able to keep that tower there, maybe with some stone walls, that will annoy Viper later on when he moves to the gold above his mining camp.
Yeah.
And maybe that stone... Actually, the towers are in range.
There is a gold in the back, though, for the Viper here, and he's seen it. So he could easily safely take this back gold later on, if it really becomes a problem.
We'll probably see Slam repair this tower for the time being, and then the Knights will come out from Viper, and Slam's going to have to make a decision. I'm still looking at his eco. He's just now getting a wheelbarrow, Zach, so he's definitely behind with that, and he needs to buy himself some time. So maybe this tower was what he had in mind to do that, just to try and pester Viper, but I don't think it'll be enough, at least on the front.
The problem is he risks this now. These 5 villagers are at risk. They could die if they get caught in this tower and the tower gets brought down. Slam's just going to bring his army into fight and maybe retreat his villagers back. But I want to add as well that Slam is not walled at all. Slam is Viper is fully walled, apart from this small gap at the front of his base. And Slam's just wide open now. Viper, meanwhile, he's got Bloodlines done. He's got +1 defense. And I imagine +2 defense is going to be on the way soon. But first of all, doing Bodkin Arrow. Interesting upgrade, but it's just because of these towers. He's really prioritizing getting that for the towers here, just so he can defend from this one single tower on the hill from Slam. Meanwhile, counter-attacking with the Knights.
Yeah, the counterattack is a good move. It's interesting that Slam has actually added a second stable, and it looks like he is going full feudal. Look at how many towers Slam is putting up in his base. I'm guessing this is not necessarily to damage the Knights, though it will help. I think it's just so he can hide villagers as well if he needs to. He had the stone, so why not use it? 2 stable scouts, and maybe he's just going to try and raid Viper. And if he can hold on to this tower, that's going to continue to annoy Viper.
But Slam is going all in here. This is risky. This
Very
is
much
so risky. He's saying, okay, I'm not going to go to the Castle Age. I'm going to stay feudal, and I'm just going to make scouts, like as many scouts as I can. At the same time, I'm not walled. I need lots of towers to defend my economy, and Viper's running around with Knights on the map. This is unbelievable, given the start that Viper had. But look at the back of the map now. Slam coming in with the scouts, and it's actually might work. Oh my goodness. These villages are all going to go down.
He's killed 2 before that as well.
Wow.
So I'm at 2606, by the way. I think I'm probably a little bit behind you, but...
Yeah, I'll slow down slightly.
No,
2620 now.
It's all right, but...
It's all good.
Okay, cool. So this, if it works, is incredible for Slam. Because Viper, if he's starved of gold, he cannot make Knights. If he's starved of that woodline on the left, he won't have a safe eco. Viper is forced to make more towers himself. And keep in mind, these scouts, they have bloodlines, they have the defense and attack upgrades. So these are strong units.
Awesome. It's so awesome.
And if you look back at Slam's base, he has the towers up and he's losing a villager or 2, but he's defending with spears. And this is brilliant. He's just hiding his villagers in the towers.
How many Knights has Viper made so far? He's made 3 Knights. How many can he afford to make? He can't afford to make any. He's out of gold. He's had no access to this for so long. And now Slam, in his economy with so many scout cavalry, forcing loads of villagers to go idle in these towers. I'm genuinely curious if this is going to work for Slam, because so far it's looking good. But Viper will get his second TC up, and a lot of those scouts going down to the tower fire there, getting incredibly low. Maybe that was a mistake from Slam, because he took way more losses than he needed to there.
Yeah.
There's a hole in Viper's woodline.
Okay, so Slam... Oh, yeah, I see that. Well, I guess there's 2 towers and a TC about to go up, so Villager will be focused down, though, which is not good for Viper. Slam has stopped the scout production, and I think he's confident that he can defend with spears because, you know, forging and the towers. And again, guys, hiding in the towers, I think it was a really good decision for Slam. And the all-in scouts, I didn't expect it. The all-in scouts has been a masterclass thus far. Slam all over the place, and he'll click up to the Castle Age soon.
What a play by Slam. What an absolute play. That tower on the front, denying the gold for long enough, just disrupting Viper and making him focus on defending that. Bear in mind, Viper researched Bodkin Arrow for his towers, which meant that he couldn't afford to make even more Knights. And now Slam is going to the Castle Age after going all in with those scouts and delaying that upgrade time for so long. It actually worked, and this is just incredible Age of Empires right here. This is so good. Just absolutely incredible.
It really is, and I think it's going to get better because these players are doing two different things, and I think they're going to continue to do two different things. Viper's going to try and boom up. He recognizes his economy was hurt. He recognizes he has a Castle Age upgrade over Slam. He's going to try and take advantage of that. But I think this hill right in front of Viper's base where the golds and the stone are, right where that tower was, I think that this is going to be where the fight will happen, and this is what will decide the game. I think if Viper can take control of this hill, he can push towards Slam. If Slam can get control of the hill, he can push towards Viper, and you can see the villagers running forward now.
Yeah, Slam keeps coming forward with these towers just to disrupt things. But
yeah.
You know what I really want to bear in mind now is it's a shame for Slam that he's had to build so many towers at home, because he would actually have enough stone for a castle right now, and that would be incredible if you could get a castle up on this hill. Now Viper, I've noticed, doing a monastery on the front here. He's actually taking a lot of gold as well, so it looks like he's going to be sinking some resources into monks. But that tells us that he's probably anticipating some gold heavy units from Slam. And maybe he's right, because Slam is adding in a third stable, and perhaps we're going to see knights from Slam as well.
I mean, look at the guy's resources. If he wanted to, now this would be stupid at this level, but if he wanted to, he could make a monastery and a siege workshop and click up to Imp. 1,000 food, 800 gold. He needs military. He's going for knights, and he's going for chain barding. And Viper right now, he's just defending. He's just defending, and that's not a position you want to be in.
No, you went a little bit robot there. I lost a couple of frames.
Oh.
I don't know if it's...
Okay.
It looks like it's stable now. Should be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks all good. I don't know if there's lag in the people saying lag. Maybe that happened earlier. It could have happened any time in the last 3.5 hours. So I don't know. Anyway, it seems fine. Viper coming around the back with some knights now, but the upgrades are in favor of Slam already, with +1/+2 versus Viper +1 defense. That's already in Slam's favor. Slam... He's not going to feel home and dry, but he's certainly going to feel pretty good with this. Also adding a siege workshop on the front as well. I like this from Slam. This is fantastic.
Yeah, and eventually I think he will have stone for that castle you talked about, Zach. He's going aggressive. Is he going to go for a Mangonel? Yes, he's going for a Mangonel so he can range these towers. Try and just hit these towers down. But Slam is not going to let up on the aggression. Viper's not going to let up on the eco. And Viper, of course, is going to need some form of defense. We're running back to that similar situation we always hit, where the longer you let someone boom up, like Viper, without attacking, the harder it's going to be to actually have success with your attack. And Slam needs to recognize that now, as he's running around with units, but he's not doing anything.
Yeah, and also I want to add that we've got to remember the games he's just played against Doubt. I think 2 of the 3 games, maybe even 3 of the 3 games, I can't remember exactly, my memory is so bad, he lost because Doubt just outboomed him. And in the end, had a superior economy. And he can't fall into that trap once again. So far, though, great engagement. He takes down both of the monks, doesn't lose a single knight just yet. One will be converted, but that's not too bad for Slam. He's, of course, going to try and kill more of these monks. But the monks hopping into the towers, and another knight getting converted here. The pressure is so hard, though. And once again, he's pushed Viper away from gold. And that's what Slam's just trying to do here. Keep the Viper off of gold at all costs. Meanwhile, Viper's even adding in crossbowmen right now. He's desperate to get some more military out, but to be honest, he's just really lacking the gold to do it, and this is a huge issue. I don't know why he's not moved on to the gold at the back. He's seen it for so long, and he still hasn't built a mining camp there. There you go, he's building it now. But this is way too late to start moving on to that gold. He should have done that so long ago, knowing how exposed this front gold was.
This is so interesting. I feel like Slam has no choice but to continue attacking. But when he gets underneath 3 towers, and there's monks under there as well, it's not going to be convincing for him. I mean, look how many knights Viper has. He has 3 knights that, well, let's see. Oh, actually, those are his own knights.
Converted.
I lied, guys.
Yeah, none were converted.
Okay, but still, I feel like if the monks sit back next to the gold and the towers are there, it's not going to be easy for Slam. He has 1 Mangonel he lost because the knights came out from Viper for that purpose, and he's making another. And the more he tries, it's going to be more difficult. Viper's massing the crossbows, and I'm looking at the populations. I think Viper's back into the lead on this one.
Well, the monk defense is one of the strongest defenses from knights and heavy gold cost units you can possibly do. And exactly as you said, Viper just needs to sit back with the monks. For heaven's sake, get onto that gold at the back, which he's finally done. Slam right now pop blocked and adding in a second TC, which is interesting because I really thought he was going to go for the castle drop. But spending 200 stone even on 2 new town centers, that means we're not going to see the castle. And I think Slam, well, although he's gone all in already and it worked, I don't think he wants to do it a second time around and risk trying to drop a castle over here. But I honestly think that could be a game-winning move from Slam if he were to drop a castle at the top of this hill, and he could have done it had he not built these 2 new town centers. Instead, he's changing direction a little bit.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I think it could be game-winning potentially, but it could be game-breaking as well. I mean, he's sitting on this hill. He's scared to go in. I think he's saying, you know what? I know the Viper's been on a couple TCs. I need to at least have some eco behind this because I will not be on Viper's level with eco. Now Viper's putting a castle up because he's not happy about this mangonels. I don't like... Well, I can't say I don't like it, but it's interesting that Viper went for crossbows.
Yeah, as well.
Because even now, if those crossbows went out, they wouldn't be able to do anything against 2 mangonels and knights.
Yeah, true. I mean, the slabs as well, they don't really have any long-term goal with crossbows because, if I'm not mistaken, they don't have arbalest. I don't want to check the tech tree because it puts us out of sync, but I'm fairly certain they don't. And, you know, Viper right now, he's really worked himself back into this game, but I think it's more the mistakes from Slam rather than the mistakes from Viper or the good player Viper here. Because I still see the mistakes from Viper, but the mistakes from Slam have really cost him. And at the same time, it's hard to say that because Slam has made so many good decisions. I just think he's not followed through with them, so to speak. It's so hard to explain, but, you know, Viper right now taking the fight on the left side. I think he's going to win this one. It's hard to say, but these crossbows should be able to do enough damage. Or I might be completely off the mark because Slam actually has the upgrade advantage, remember, which I forgot about before.
Well, I assume more pikemen will come out for Viper, but he didn't have enough of them there. More knights coming over for Slam. This is actually really huge because look at all the villagers relocated on the left for Viper. He's running out of wood. So that's a really good win for him.
Yeah, Viper gets that win. 3 of the knights getting converted by the monks. And he's pushed back out. And now Slam's in a position where he's just thinking to himself, well, oh shit. Viper's now on 3 TCs. He's fully boomed. Bear in mind he's had the 15% faster farming. And now Slam's only just gone up to his 2nd and 3rd TC. He's still got to really go hard on the gas with the knights. You know, he can't let up.
It's so difficult to say that Slam did anything wrong here because he's done so much right.
Yeah,
but I think now we realize with the population difference that Slam should have probably thought about going a little bit more aggressive instead of keeping his knights on that hill. If he ran to the left earlier, would it have been better for him? If he went for the castle, would things have been different?
Yeah.
We don't know, but Slam needs to make plans for the future now.
Well, this is what I was saying before, right? He made the great decision to go all in Feudal and add the 2nd stable. That worked great. And then that secured... And then the early game, he played so well. But then I feel like he didn't follow up enough. I feel like he should have been more aggressive. I personally feel like he should have dropped the castle on the hill. I feel like he should have tried to break the palisade on the left and go through. And that way, the Viper wouldn't have been able to reboom back here. And this booming from Viper, it's not like Viper's done anything special. He's just boomed, and Slam hasn't taken full advantage of the military lead and the early aggression that he applied. So, you know, I hate to say it, but I feel like Slam maybe not doing as best as he could here, or as well as he could.
Yeah, I think he should have taken advantage of his lead early Castle Age more with the amount of resources he had. He delayed getting the mangonels out. It's like he created one, and then there was a delay, and there weren't any more coming out. But we're going to see a big fight here on the left now.
I'm saying oh no because I just think this is a bad fight for Slam. He bought his knights running into the pikemen, and at the same time, the knights from Viper come for the mangonels at the back. It looks like Viper will be able to get the mangonels here. I'm certain he'll get them all. Maybe not. Yeah, he'll get them all.
What?
And now Slam's just going to be fighting against the pikes. And again, this is a bad fight for Slam. He's going to have to back away, and this is painful to watch. These knights are just getting absolutely massacred here. Yeah, I could just see at the very start of that fight how badly that was going to go for Slam when he had his army just split like that, and Viper on the counter-attack now with a 2k score lead. I can't believe this.
It really is crazy, because when you're a top player and you're dealing with that much pressure, you just know what to do. like Viper knew he still had the castle age advantage, but it's so hard to call. But it's got to be impressive with what Viper has done. I think he's done a good job relocating and holding to the left-hand side, putting a castle on the right, holding the map control. But it's also been impressive from Slam. It's not going to be easy for him now. Viper's on the way up to Imp, and with a really good combo. Only Knights for Slam. Viper's had the time to transition into what will be Halberdier.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I feel like this is it for Slam now. I think once Viper gets Imp, I mean, Slam can't fight this army because of the pikes, and then you've got crossbows, which are just going to come and kill all of his villagers over here. I guess he could fight the army, but he's going to sustain heavy losses if he fights into the pikemen. And then Viper goes Imperial, and as you said, goes Halberdier. What's Slam going to do next? It's just so unfortunate for him, but I don't see how he's possibly going to win this game now from this position. Viper's not going to let this slip. To agree. You know?
I agree. I mean, all those knights.
Oh, they might do some damage here. Down. They might clean this army up, but they've already taken massive losses. And Slam traded very effectively against that army anyway. Sorry, Viper traded very effectively against that army. So, okay, Slam does win that, but Viper's now
I don't think Viper's too worried about crossbows at this stage. Yeah. Like you said, Slav's probably not going to go that direction. So if he could do as much damage as possible against those knights, that's good. And then he's going to make the obvious transition into Halb. And
back it up with some siege. Yeah.
Yeah, Viper's going late game now, getting the castle up on the left-hand side, getting all the map control, and just making sure there are no leaks in the walls.
Honestly, if I was Viper right now, I'd probably go Boyar as well. He's got a lot of gold and he's got a lot of food. Boyar are going to be great against the knights. They can actually chase them down, so you can be a bit more proactive with them, because when you've got halbs and pikes, you're really relying on your opponent to come to you, because you can't chase the knights with your units. But if you go for Boyar, yeah, you can actually take the fight to your enemy. And with the Viper reaching Imperial, Slam's just going to call GG. And honestly, I don't blame him for that at all. It's over.
No. Yeah, no surprise. No surprise at all. Slam, he had his window of opportunity in the Feudal Age, and he took that well. But Viper was able to slowly climb back. And Slam maybe didn't have enough to push down that hill where there were 3 towers. I think we didn't talk about it as much, Zach, but Viper knew that hill was important. He put 3 towers up. Yeah. But Viper's eco in the end just won him the game.
Yeah, exactly. And man, it really hurts to see that for Slam, because he had such an incredible early game. Like, I was so excited when I saw Slam's aggression coming in. It looked like that would have been almost game-ending for the Viper. Couple that with the fact that Slam had a great transition into the Feudal Age, kept the pressure on. Now, when we've seen the Viper lose games in the past, it's usually when he's under so much pressure that he just can't cope and he cracks. And Slam didn't follow through enough. He really had an amazing game, though, and this is why I hate to say it, because Slam did play an incredible game even still.
It was great.
And you know, it just such a fantastic game at such a late stage in this tournament. And all these games, this puts so much pressure on Slam now, because if he loses another game, he's eliminated, and Viper's going to go through to the grand finals. He needs to win 2 games in a row from, well, it's the Viper, if he wants to make it to the grand final here. Now, Nilpford, give us some more insight on this game, and we'll prepare ourselves. I'm going to grab some food as well in the meantime. But stay tuned, guys. We do have more games coming up. I'll pass it to Nilpford now.
This felt so much like 2 throat games packed into one. First, it was 3 skirmishers going into more skirmishers for the Viper, and then suddenly, or unfortunately, the stable shown, and the Viper could fall back, counter it, and okay, Slam lost his first advantage there. But later on, when he got the Viper down to, I believe, 28 villagers in or early castle age, he was in such a good position. And what did the Viper do then? He was putting out the threat. He went for bloodlines, he went for +1 defense. And what did he actually do? He built only 3 knights. But Slam was anticipating so much more, did not want to lose this game at this point, and went for 8 defensive spearmen, 6 defensive towers, completely delayed all his eco, went for a lot of stone, and then later on, when reaching Castle Age, was trying to do the huge push. Viper had a nice monk defense, and at the same time, his remaining 3 knights actually killed 8 villagers who tried to go aggressive to put down more siege workshops, more monasteries, and there was no point or no chance for Slam to keep up the aggression. The Viper had 25 more villagers and just sailed the win home.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, what an incredible game. That was probably the best game of the tournament for me so far, and yeah, I'm just so hyped now for the next game. I seriously cannot wait.
Yeah, I agree.
It's so exciting. So, guys, we're going to come back out of this one, and let's just switch the scene up here. Now, just to give you an update, I need to eat something, otherwise I'm